All right, so today we are going to be going over some tweets of Anna Kasparian's and Lance from the Surfs TV because apparently no one is allowed to we can't just accept that someone trying to legitimately criticize and tell people where they're going wrong or where they went wrong is that's not allowed anymore. It's just we can't do that anymore. So this is a clip. Um, from back when Anna Kasparian went on the Adam and Stitch show. And we're going to start with this because it's important for context. Also, this clip is sped up just for time purposes. You'll still be able to understand what they say.
I want to say something about abortion. As someone who is firmly in favor of reproductive rights, I want to tell you guys and your audience that the vast majority of us do not agree with what Lance said on Tim Pool's show.
But you were talking about how women, how like disgusted you are that women may have an abortion in the 9th month, right? Or even
a viable baby
of a viable baby. And I wanted to scream at that time, being like, women who have abortions in the 9th month, they're not doing that because they got bored, or all of a sudden they're like, oh, I don't care anymore. They do that because it's a fucking tragedy. Like statistically, women who are getting abortions in the 9th month is because there's a medical complication that could kill them. That's why they have to do it.
That's true.
So first off, Tim gave him like a ridiculous hypothetical of like a healthy pregnancy at 9 months, and the woman just decides like, I went through the torture of being pregnant for 9 months, and I've decided to end my healthy pregnancy, right before I'm going to deliver.
Right.
No one's in favor of that. Okay, no one, literally no one. I guess except for Lance.
Pregnant, the baby is viable and capable of surviving on its own.
Sure.
And she says before it breaches oxygen, kill it. You think that should be allowed?
This is again the baby guillotines. This is why I brought that up. But what a weird scenario. This doesn't happen. This is not the real world.
So I don't know what Lance really thinks.
Yeah.
But the only time abortions happen in the 3rd trimester, first of all, they're always tragic. They're always awful. And it's because the woman's life is in danger. Okay. It's never because the woman was lazy and decided that she wanted to do it last minute.
I don't think women on the 9th month get abortions with viable living children and then be like, I don't want it, kill it. I don't think that happens.
I don't know why Lance did that. I think it's so dumb. It's so dumb. And look, I don't think it makes sense to make all abortion illegal in the 3rd trimester. There are some rare instances where if the woman's life is in danger, right? But be clear about that. Just be clear about that.
So 88% of abortions are in the first 12 weeks. 88.
Yeah.
88% of abortions. Less than 1.3% of abortions take place near the 8th or 9th month.
And so that clip right there was posted by Lance to Twitter on July 7th after Anna's appearance on the Adam and Stitch show. And Lance said, Anna Kasparian not only completely misrepresented what I said about abortion rights on Tim Pool's show, but actually spread his strawman framing. She goes on to nearly verbatim agree with my talking points. All the receipts are in this video. But last night, Lance posted about Anna Kasparian. He made a post. This is the post that Lance made. He says, gotta be liberating not to have to pretend anymore. And he puts a screenshot up here of a piece or a part of TYT's coverage of Portugal and decriminalization of drugs over there. We're going to watch a small portion of the TYT video in just a second. But this is what Lance said. Gotta be liberating not to have to pretend anymore. And there's the picture of Anna Kasparian. And Vosh replies down here to the video. And again, we're going to watch the video in just a second. But Anna responded to Lance and his tweet and said, listen, I get that a dishonest and untalented clown like Lance needs to distract from his embarrassing debate with Tim Pool. So he's going to post a screenshot of a story I covered and mischaracterize what I said. Here's the full video. And the Surfs responded down here and said, what does me making a post about you have to do with me debating Tim Pool 2 months ago? I don't understand how they're connected. Are you taking credit for coaching him or something? And Anna responded with, I felt like cooking tonight, Lance. You hungry. I think that was, I don't like to use this word, but was a little cringe there of a response in my opinion. But we are going to watch a small portion of this coverage here on TYT, and then we're going to look at some of the comments of this video because I think that they're very telling.
But as I was researching the story, I was actually shocked to find that tides are turning in Portugal.
And the reason I'm not playing this entire clip is because the entire clip is 19 minutes long. You can go on TYT channel right now. Addiction explodes in Portugal as decriminalization suffers major hiccups. Go and watch the entire video for yourself. I always recommend anything I show, any article, any clip, go watch the entire thing for yourself. But I cannot play the entire 19-minute video here.
And their much lauded drug reforms are beginning to show cracks and weaknesses. Okay, so let's go back and refresh our memories of how Portugal reformed their drug laws. Back in 2001, Portugal ended punitive drug policies and instead decriminalized consumption of all drugs for personal use. Consumption remains technically against the law, but instead of jail, people who misuse drugs are registered by police and referred to dissuasion commissions. For the most troubled people, authorities can impose sanctions, including fines, and recommend treatment. The decision to attend, though, is voluntary. So the so-called harm reduction model was born. That's what happened in Portugal. And the initial results were absolutely promising. In fact, TYT covered Portugal's success story many, many times. Here's one example from 2012.
And back in 2001, Portugal decriminalized all drugs. Now, we talked to you about the Portuguese experiment before, and that it seemed that it was going well with the numbers. Well, a new report is out after 11 years of this experiment. How has it gone so far? Well, the numbers are in, and they are astounding. The number of drug addicts being treated has dropped by half in Portugal. They cut the rate by 50%. What happened? I thought it was supposed to go up. No, there's far less drug addicts. And if you think that's an impressive number, drug-related diseases, including STDs and overdoses, have been reduced by an even greater number.
Look, he wasn't lying. At that moment in time, August of 2012, data indicated that HIV transmission rates through shared syringes had plummeted. And other metrics illustrated the success of the decriminalization policy as well. From 2000 to 2008, prison populations fell by 16.5%. Overdose rates dropped as public funds flowed from jails to rehabilitation. There was no evidence of a feared surge in drug use. The decriminalization policy in Portugal was so successful that in 2009, while writing for the Cato Institute, Glenn Greenwald reported that, quote, none of the parade of horrors that decriminalization opponents in Portugal predicted and that decriminalization opponents around the world typically invoke has come to pass. And he was right about that. But things have unfortunately begun to shift in a scary direction. Officials in Portugal, including the very architect of decriminalization in the country, say they're noticing a steep spike in the number of people suffering from addiction. A newly released national survey suggests the percent of adults who have used illicit drugs increased to 12.8% in 2022, and that's up from 7.8% in 2001. In other words, there are now more adults reporting illicit drug use today compared to the year the decriminalization policy was implemented with the very intention of lowering the prevalence of drug abuse. Portugal is still doing better than some European countries, and drug use there is still below European averages. So you've got to look at it all in context, okay?
So that's what Anna said. And again, that was not the entire clip of her talking. That was not the entire thing. It's a 19-minute video. But the comments on this video, I think, are very, very interesting because these are comments from people on the internet. So, you have to take that at for what it is. But the first comment here says, I'm Portuguese. First of all, this video presents the situation and the path that brought us here quite brilliantly. The only thing I need to point out that in the early 2010s after COVID, we face huge economic issues and those have social consequences. The increase in overdoses is related to that, and we're also seeing increase in smoking and drinking habits. Our drug approach is not perfect and needs improvement, but the issue is not that decriminalization is starting to fail. It's just that there's more incentives to consume drugs. Portugal is still a success story. And this one down here, I think, is really good. Someone by the tag of GDRDM says, I'm a 39-year-old Portuguese person living in Lisbon. I remember Lisbon in the 90s and early 2000s. We have come a long way. I can't know for sure the reasons for the recent spike after years of downward trend, by the way, but nothing points to an overall policy failure. TYT's framing is lazy and harmful. To make sure no one loses sight of the scale, nationwide overdoses rose to 74 in 2001 from 45 in 2020. National healthcare service is undersourced and under attack. There's a housing crisis which has accelerated poverty and stress. João Gallo, I don't know if I pronounced that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. Father of the program, the decriminalization program, has commented that the use of psychoactive substances is deeply interconnected with mental health levels in a population and life circumstances. Living standards are declining here. Precariousness, poverty, and homelessness are rising. Deaths by alcohol have gone up in similar proportion, and about half the overdose deaths, there was some admixture of anti-anxiety medication. We've just gone through a global pandemic. Family members, friends, jobs, homes were lost. Terrible, irresponsible alarmists, paranoid garbage from TYT. One more comment here, or two more comments here. I think this is just fear-mongering. Anna talks about drug usage going from 7 to 12% in Portugal, but yet that could just mean an increase in recreational marijuana use. She didn't say what drugs, and as others have said, Portugal has cut funding for drug rehab, so an increase could be just natural. Portugal had 72 overdose last year, while the U.S. had over 100,000. Decriminalization keeps people alive. That's the point. It only applies to users, not dealers, and they still have the lowest addiction rates in Europe, even after 22 years. Now, again, and also, this is not a great measure, I think. The video has an even amount of likes and dislikes. I have not tons, but I have videos on my channel where they have more dislikes than likes because the conservatives show up and just completely dislike bomb. So I don't think this is the greatest measure, but a lot of people in the comments that are saying they are from Portugal, they are Portuguese, are saying that this framing from Anna MTYT here is disingenuous at best. And I feel like that was what Anna or what Lance was trying to say with his original tweet. So I already went over this stuff, but if you keep scrolling down here, Anna Kasparian links to an article down here. And she says, I don't think you're experiencing the current climate we're living in. And she links to a Newsweek article titled DEI College Director Fired for Not Being Right Kind of Black Person. Now, this is the same thing that Anna Kasparian did when she was arguing her the whole bonus hole term thing, and she linked to an article on Yahoo News, and I don't think she read the article, and I think the case is the same here. Now, I think Newsweek is, I don't really trust Newsweek that much. As far as publications where I see something from them, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's Newsweek. I trust them 9 times out of 10. No, I don't trust Newsweek, but I don't think Anna Kasparian read the article at all, because all you have to do is start reading the article, and you can see that her linking the article doesn't help her case. It actually works against her. DEI college director fired for not being right kind of black person. A former community college diversity, equity, and inclusion director and tenured faculty member is suing her former employer for allegedly stunting her free speech and academic freedom, telling Newsweek, they literally marginalized me as an individual. Tabia Lee, who is black, was recently terminated from her position at De Anza Community College, located in Cupertino, California, as a full-time tenured member after working in the education field for approximately 2 decades. A 53-page lawsuit filed July 10th claims that she encountered a hostile department illegally targeting white people on the basis of race. It also says she was accused of white-splaining and not being the right kind of black person. This is the lawsuit that Tabia filed, and claims she was vilified for refraining from invoking racial stereotypes and refusing to use the term Latinx instead of Latinos. DEI, which broadly describes initiatives designed to promote the fair inclusion of underrepresented groups, is almost everywhere in the current U.S. society, including in congressional amendments for military-related funding and across the business sector. And this is they go on to talk about DEI's effectiveness. Only approximately 3 in 10 workers value a diverse workplace, and only about 30% of American employers have a staff member who promotes DEI, according to the Pew Research Center. In March of this year, Lee was informed by De Anza that she would be terminated because of De Anza and the district's ideological opposition to Dr. Lee's humanism in the classroom, according to the complaint. It says that she refused to knuckle under to campus orthodoxy, which Lee has described as excessively woke. So, when you're supposed to be someone, and I don't know the in and outs of this person's position, but when you're supposed to be someone who is in charge or a part of a program or promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, when that's your job and you are refusing to do that, you're refusing to take part in things that promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, yeah, that's if you're not doing your fucking job right and you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then you're gonna get fired. Again, I don't think Anna read this article because the headline definitely catches you. You read the headline and you say, "Oh wow, that's fucked up. That's some fucked up shit." But then you go and read the article and the headline, you kind of look at the headline, you're like, well, that's not really the most genuine framing, which I'm not surprised. Every fucking news publication does shit like that. Okay. But I don't know why she linked this fucking article, because again, it doesn't help her case. But someone in this thread down here responded to Anna. Or someone responded to Anna's original tweet, and she said, that Tim Pool debate will follow him for quite some time. And Anna responded and said, embarrassing, no other word to describe it. And then someone named Defy Lies said, you and Lance had the same take on abortion, though. And Anna responded to this person and said, no, we do not. I do not agree with the notion that a woman should be able to terminate a healthy pregnancy at 9 months. Almost no one believes that except for Lance. And again, this is that's not right. And you guys have heard me say this on the channel before, especially on Twitter. I see Lance tweets, I see tweets from the serfs, and I find myself routinely disagreeing with Lance tweets. But then again, I'll see him on his stream, I'll see him on other shows, and I think he's able to articulate himself a lot better when he's on camera. I don't watch the serfs a lot. I'm not a diehard serfs fan. But Anna said, so when Lance goes on Tim Pool's massive platform to declare that the left wing position is my body, my choice, even at 9 fucking months, maybe consider who here is really helping the right wing narrative. And then he says, fair enough, we're on completely opposite ends on this one. And he posts the clip that I originally showed you. And Anna responds and says, oh, here. Let me help you include the part where you sign on to terminating healthy pregnancies at 9 months. You know, the part you don't want to draw attention to. And here is this clip.
No. Hold on. Colorado legalized abortion up to 9 months with no medical reason required. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that decision.
So again, Anna here posts a 9-second clip. A 9-second clip and says, oh, here, look at this 9-second clip here of this thing that you said. But this is the same thing. This is the same fucking thing that Anna got mad at Lance for doing originally. You turned around and did the same fucking shit. He posted a screenshot and he says, oh, well, you know, he's going to post a screenshot of a story I covered and mischaracterize what I said. And then she turns around and just does it back to him immediately. She says, we're not winning with this kind of foolishness. It's like, you did the same thing. It's the same exact thing Lance did to you. It's the same thing. But even then, I showed you guys part of that clip from TYT. Even people that are literally experiencing what Anna was talking about in that clip are saying, well, you know, this framing is quite disingenuous. But the last thing that I do need to go over, because this is ultimately what really matters, you know, the drama, disagreements, whatever, okay? I don't know why Anna cannot handle people criticizing her. Legitimate criticism from people that are on the same side. We're all on the same fucking side. I don't know why we're fighting. It's very frustrating to me. But what matters is what the science actually fucking says. What matters is what we know. And what we know here is that abortions at or after 21 weeks are uncommon and represent 1. It's actually less than 1 now. In today's time, it's less than 1%. Less than 1% of all abortions in the U.S. are after 21 weeks. There are literally almost none. There are almost no late-term abortions like Anna and Tim Pool were saying. Typically, these procedures cost well over $1,000, excluding the cost of travel and lost wages. They normally require treatment over multiple days and are only performed by a subset of all abortion providers. Reasons individuals seek abortions later in pregnancy include medical concerns such as fetal anomalies or maternal life endangerment, as well as barriers to care that cause delays in obtaining an abortion. So this is a part that's really, really important because now, and this is from 2019, but now, the Kaiser Family Foundation, in case anyone wants to look it up, now, Roe v. Wade has been overturned. So now it's even harder for women that maybe need or want to get an abortion. So now we might start seeing, as shitty as this is, but it's the reality, more late-term abortions, because if you're restricting the access to the abortion and someone needs it, they just have to wait. You're just making it worse. You're making it worse for everyone involved when you do something like overturn Roe v. Wade. And there's nothing we can do about that because that Supreme Court decision has already been overturned. But I found another really good article here written by Katrina Kimport, who is an associate professor of obstetrics, gynecology, and reproductive scientists at the University of California in San Francisco. And she says less than 1% of abortions take place in the 3rd trimester. Here's why people get them. People seek 3rd trimester abortions for 2 main reasons: because they learn new information such about the health of the fetus, or because of barriers to abortion access, often as a result of state policies. So again, the only two reasons people are getting abortions that late are because they find out new information about the mother or the baby possibly having life-threatening complications, or because they literally cannot get access. And again, this is a super important issue. That's why I'm talking about it. They cannot get access to abortion, okay? So even when you see that 9-second clip of Tim Pool going, I'll just play the fucking clip. I'll play the clip so you guys can see it. So I'm not sitting here paraphrasing.
That's not true.
Hold on.
And even then, it's like this is something that I always like. I'll get mad when I watch a YouTube video or go on Twitter and see someone like a post that has like 100,000 likes. It's like, look at what this person said, and it's like a 12-second clip of a 2-minute clip. And if you had played the other minute and 48 seconds, then what they were saying is literally it just completely disingenuous framing.
That's not true. Hold on. Colorado legalized abortion in up to 9 months with no medical reason required. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that decision.
And again, there's no medical reason required. Again, now that Roe v. Wade has been overturned by the Supreme Court, there are people that might need access to an abortion, to get an abortion, and they don't have it. So they have to go somewhere to get it, travel out of state. Maybe they have to travel out of state. Maybe they have to travel multiple states over to go. That costs money. That shit takes a long fucking time, okay? This shouldn't even be an issue, okay? It should just be a right. I shouldn't have to be talking about this. I shouldn't even have to be covering something like this because it should have never been overturned by the Supreme Court. It shouldn't be an issue, but it's just I'm fucking pissed. I'm fucking pissed that Anna Kasparian is still sitting here calling these people out and saying we're not winning with this kind of foolishness. Taking a 9-second clip again. She's the one who it all started back with this birthing person shit, okay? She wants to sit there and say, "Well, it's the issues that matter." Well, when people criticize your coverage of certain issues, you have to be open and listen to that goddamn criticism. I really, really doubt that Lance and Oleyemi and Matt Bender and Humanist Report and fucking Hassan or Sam Cedar or Emma Vigeland, whoever the fuck you want to say, I really doubt that all of these big leftists in this content creation space really are sitting there in their heads thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to trash Anna Kasparian for clout. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna trash someone that we all look up to her. I look up to Anna Kasparian. I have for a long time. And this is why I'm so frustrated by this. It's also why I'm covering it, because I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand why they are just unable to hear and listen and take legitimate criticism when it is presented to them, even from people they're close to. Okay? And that's the most frustrating part. But that's going to be it for the video. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Guys, please, please, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the video. I read each and every comment. I know I'm not great at replying, but I do read each and every comment that you guys leave me. Hit the like button, subscribe, press that little bell, all notifications so you guys never miss an upload.